Hi. Good evening, everyone. Yep, it's Wednesday night again, and we are doing our normal, usual Facebook Live. Okay, so here, oh, you're supposed to take this from me, is it? Oh, okay. I have to give this away. Okay, all right, so I have nothing to refer now. Just want to make sure that if there's anyone tuning in right now, do actually put it in the comment and let me know whether you can actually hear me clearly and you can also see the screen clearly tonight. Okay, yeah, tonight's session is all about relating tarot and also numbers together. So we're going to go through some basic meaning into numbers. All right. So yeah, for those of you who have actually joined me in previous week, okay, Tarot, Your Core and You workshop, there are over, I think 300 over of you who have joined me on that workshop. So today's session itself, we're going to, in a way, look into the numbers itself, okay, on the surface level, generally. All right, so when you go into a more detailed workshop, which is a tarot blueprint, then we will again look into a deeper layer. But tonight, at least you understand, okay, what is numbers, okay, how numbers, or in the Western they call it numerology. In Chinese Metaphysics, we also have, of course, usage of numbers and the divination using numbers as well that actually comes together in a Shen Gong Flying Stars, okay. So in terms of feng shui, different numbers, we have different meanings, all right. So what does these numbers mean, okay, and then in a way also how is it related to the tarot? So tonight we're going to discuss about that, okay. Hi Chang Feng, all right, yep, sound loud and clear, thank you so much, okay. Chang Feng is always in a way very supportive lah, okay. Too fast. I already say tonight's session itself is just before I start, probably I was a bit too hungry. Today is so drained out with a lot of thinking, brainstorming and researching and all that, right? Okay, probably too hungry. We have not taken our dinner yet. Yeah, okay, so it's just before I start, I was in a bit feeling energetically drained. So I was asking my daughter to pass me some biscuits. I need some biscuits, okay? Probably after some biscuits itself, it's very itchy throat as well. Okay, so Teresa, Leanne, hi, Raymond Fu, nice background. Yeah, I've actually used this background before. In a way, of course, we don't create it lah. Okay, we actually use it because there are actually some complimentary or free background to use, okay, if you can actually search out, including some photos as well. Hi, So-Yi. Taiva, okay, all right, looks like Christmas. I was actually missing Christmas already. All right, thank you so much to all of you, okay, who have just joined me on this session. Again, if you can, please do help me to actually share out the session so that it can actually reach more, okay, more people, and more people can actually benefit from the informations of the sessions alone. All right, hi Donna Poon, Saman Zaidi, okay, hello, okay, thank you for tuning in. Hi Romax, okay, thank you again, okay, for joining me. All right, tonight's session itself is actually about tarot and numbers. So we're going to link in a way, okay, numbers, at least learn some basic meanings of the numbers, okay, from, of course, the Western perspective and also from the Chinese metaphysics perspective. What does this number means, okay? And then eventually also, of course, you can also understand that every one of us are given certain numbers, okay. We have our soul numbers, okay. There are a lot of you who have actually attended, okay, last week's sessions on Tarot, Your Core and You, where you already know what is your soul numbers and how to relate it to the cards, okay. Besides that, we also have numbers that's relating to our, even looking at our date of birth. And then when we actually look at even our phone numbers, car plate numbers and all that, okay. So it's every now and then, it's almost every day we look at numbers. At times when we randomly look at the clock, right, okay, suddenly it's sudden numbers, okay, always seems to in a way capture our attention, okay. So it's probably we see 1111, or sometimes we see as in 1122 examples. There are some combinations of numbers. Certain numbers are in a way they are more connected to us. So tonight's session itself, right, okay, we're going to talk about at least some basic meanings of the numbers. So the next time when you see those numbers itself, or when you're live and when you have certain questions, or you are in the midst of certain decisions, okay, right, and then when you see certain numbers that pops up in front of you, probably that can be a message or a sign, okay, that you want to actually pay attention to and look into as well. Okay, so let me look at here. Yeah, press back to that page. Okay, all right, so now bring out the slides for me. Okay, let me start off with like tonight's session. Hi, Veron, Margaret Tan, hello. Kevin Sim is there. Let me say hello first, okay? All right, Jacqueline, all right, thank you. Oh, in fact, some of you have actually still asking me questions on the Q&A part that I was like trying out, okay? I think probably there are still some questions unanswered, okay? Anyway, the Q&A is already stopped, right? I will answer the remaining questions itself, okay? When I have time tonight, okay? So rest assured, just be patient. So I will slip in whenever I have the time to answer those questions. Ken Eng, all right. So good evening, Justice for very glittering background there. Yeah, okay. So Island Wong, okay. Thank you for tuning in. Now, for those of you who are first time, okay, like joining my Facebook Live, okay, probably you are wondering is like what tarot is all about, okay. So tarot is actually a system that I have actually used very closely and dearly, all right. That it comprises of like, you know, a deck of cards, okay, that have like 78 cards, okay, in it, okay. And out of the 78 cards itself, right, there are 22 major arcana cards, and then of course another 56 there are minor arcana cards, okay. Of course tonight we are not touching in details, but tarot, I always say these things is like, you know, it is one of the easiest tools because, you know, we've been doing so many things, okay. There are different tools or different life tools to help us to bring more self-awareness. Right, all this astrology thing, why we go for a consultation, why we go for reading, why do we want to even learn, okay, all these tools, it's not because of paranoid or superstitious, okay, because we want answers, okay, to certain things, or we want, okay, some messages to let us know, okay, so that we delve deeper into our strengths, weaknesses, what are the things, okay, that we can pay attention to work on it, to be better, to actually in a way outgrow ourselves, so that our energy can keep on ascending, and like, in a way levitate our energy lah. Okay, let's put it that way. And of course, tarot is actually one of the tools, okay, that I've been actually using, all right, all this while. It is one of the easiest tool. In fact, it is the easiest tool. It's not even one of the easiest tool, okay? It's the easiest tool to actually use and comprehend, because it's like, what you see from the pictures itself, even for those of you who have probably not tried tarot before or not, in a way, heard of it before, later when I explain the numbers, okay, carried by each of these individual cards, right, you might feel a certain connection, right? You can actually see, okay, look at the cards itself and you will feel that, oh, actually I can see more than just the numbers, okay, because there's a lot of colors here. And I've done, okay, like sessions talking about colors, okay. So if you merge the colors, the name that is depicted on the tarot cards itself, now including with the numbers, right, okay, by merging all this information together, eventually you'll be able to read these cards. All right, so of course tonight's session itself, we will be actually focusing only on the numbers, not on the colors, not on other symbols, okay, not on the name, all right, but of course only on the numbers. All right, so Hugh Chu K, okay, Angel Soon, this is your first time, thank you for joining, Angel Soon. All right, so Brenda Yong, okay, those of you who are first time here, I mean, do introduce yourself, let me see you, okay, since you're first time, all right. So it will be good if you can do help me to share out the sessions on your Facebook, okay, just click share so that more people can actually be aware of this sharing itself. Linda Wang, you're not first time, I know, I remember your name. Sharina Hall, okay, you're also first time, thank you so much, okay, for actually joining me on this session, okay. Mona Leong, hello, okay. All right, so now take a look at this, okay. So all together, right, okay, now numbers itself, right, okay, of course, like in a way, the numbers you can actually see 0, 1, and then up to 9, okay. Now all the rest of the numbers are just in the way, of course, like, you know, combining all these numbers together. Let's say if you get 10, it's just combining 1 and 0 together. You get 11 means you have double 1s together. All right, so at least the single digit numbers itself, right, okay, it is actually from 1 to 9. Now 0 itself in terms of metaphysics, okay, right, for us we do not even consider 0 as a number, because 0 itself, right, okay, is actually a figure, okay, that represents nothingness, okay, that's 0, that's emptiness in it. Or you can also say there's infinity. There's no exact, in a way, it doesn't carries, okay, together. It is like any particular amount or any particular subject matter, okay. So of course, those of you who have followed my I Ching and all these things before, you know that the Tao symbol, okay, the yin and yang symbol, okay, the Tai Chi Tu, okay, so it actually comes out from nothingness. How do we get yin and yang? Okay, it's like, you know, from nothingness, it becomes that duality, that actually symbol of duality. So here itself, right, the 0 numbers represents that nothingness, okay. That's why in tarot system we label it as the fool, nothing. okay, right? That's also one saying that I really love, okay, like this particular quote itself, okay, when someone is like, I always say is that when you are nothing, you are everything, okay? So like the purpose of us is actually, in a way, the conquest, I would say, of humankind is like how to actually, in a way, go over our egos. You know, a lot of times, right, why we fail in certain things, okay, like why is it we suffer, okay, in our life itself, okay, a lot of time, okay, it is actually parts and partial of a subconscious doings of the ego. Right, the ego will actually trigger certain emotions. It will actually trigger certain actions that subsequently also have a chance, okay, to actually, in a way, make us suffer, okay, or failure in this particular time itself. I'm not saying that ego is totally bad, right? Ego is something to actually keep us safe, okay? It is our survival mode. But the thing is, if we are not aware of it and how this ego is in a way impacting us in our life itself, right, okay, the chances is if we can actually succumb to it, right, in a subconsciously manipulated by it, and hence do things, okay, that we might actually, in a way, one day reflect back on upon with regret and resentment. All right, so that is also one of the impact of ego. So of course, 0 here represents that, okay, the quest of human beings in terms of a spiritual path, okay, eventually we want to shed all this is like materialistic, the sense of belonging, like who am I? I'm greater than you. That sort of like how to say, comparison, okay, separations. All right, so when everyone, okay, in a way learns that one day there's no such thing as separations, whenever we start to compare, whenever we start to fight for certain, like, you know, certain truth or even certain, like, you know, justifications, okay, that is the moment that people are in a way going into a world of division, okay, where it separates, okay, the yin and yang starts to happen. And of course, in terms of spirituality, it is all about oneness, and that oneness means that everything appears in a whole. It comprises, okay, of everything. Everything is like, you know, linked to one another. Therefore, here 0, we put it at the top, okay. Overall, it means everything, but at the same time, it means nothing. So I'm not sure first timers here, right? Okay, this will in a way confuse you, okay? Because normally this one is I save it for like a deeper, more intimate class so that people are more ready for this information. But since so many of you here first timers, right? Okay, these are the things that probably you need to time to actually in a way like filter it or like, you know, digest it lah. All right. So today I'm going to focus on number 1 up to 9. All right, so for up to number 1 up to 9 here, okay, it is also represented in the tarot card major arcana, what we call the soul cards. Okay, so yeah, we have another tarot workshop coming up next week. In fact, many of you have already signed up. Those of you who actually signed up for the previous class, I was told that you came back to repeat the class as well. Thank you so much, all right? So if you're free on Merdeka Day, on the 31st of like August itself, right, okay, if you're free in the afternoon and you want to actually, in a way, probably like, at least try to come to one of the workshop to find out more about your life purpose and your soul purpose, how all these numbers are related to you, okay, based on your date of birth, okay, how is it related to you, what is it going to tell you, what message is it going to reveal to you. Tuesday itself will be a workshop for that, but let's come back to this. All right, so when we come look at this right now, we start off with number 1. Number 1 here, okay, also represented by the magician cards. Now, besides this card itself, right, there are a few other cards that also holds the quality of number 1. All right. So in general, it's like, what does this 1 represent? Okay. So 1 up to 9, right? Okay, 1 is the first number, the first official number, because 0 itself, right? Okay, is not really a number per se. For us, it's like nothingness. Okay. So that's why when you try to times anything with 0, it is equal 0, okay? So, or you try to do it on a calculator, you see, it will say error 1, because nothing can be times with 0, okay? It has no answer to it, all right? So therefore, okay, you can say that the answer is not as in infinity or it's totally error. You cannot actually get the answer out of it, okay? So 1 here is a beginning. It is actually the starting point. So the meaning of 1, okay, if you often see number 1 in your life, okay, so happen that, okay, if you see your ICs, like mostly are 1s, it ends with a 1, example, okay, or let's say, example is like, you know, all this while we've been staying in different houses, but somehow most of the houses, okay, some people have this synchronicity, right, most of the houses, it also bears with them the number 1. It means that this 1 itself holds a very strong connection to you in your life, or probably a lot of times, right, not deliberately deliberately that you choose a phone number that has a lot of 1, but somehow you are given, okay, with a phone numbers or something, some numberings or whatsoever membership numbers that you hold dearly to, that has also a lot of number 1s in it, okay? If that's the case, all right, the magician card or this particular keywords has a deep meaning to you. Now 1, okay, represents individuality, okay, because it's like the first, okay, the first to appear, okay? So it is also in a way that represents a beginning. Number 1 is a number of beginning. It starts, okay, it's original. So 1 here represents, of course, originality as well, okay? So when you see that 1, okay, it also represents independence, okay? This is like the first number that emerged, okay? Doesn't need anyone. Now 1 here, of course, it represents authority, okay? Autonomy, or it's like power as well. That's number 1, because 1 in a way that, okay, that's why I say, well, who's number 1? It's always the highest in the, almost like the hierarchy, the first one, okay, in line. So that is the number 1. Now number 1 here, okay, in a way connected, okay, to personally itself, okay, it's always about voicing our truth. Okay, individuality is like, no, your authenticity. Can you be different or not? I mean, everyone are created differently, but can you be different? Now, a lot of people, right, okay, they tend to go into like, you know, a safer mode, how to blend in. A lot of people in a way that feels that they want to blend in, they feel safer blending in rather than having their own voice or being different. So if that's the case, it means that the 1 in your life itself is not functioning well, okay? The 1 is weak, okay? You feel like fearful to actually be that individualistic person, you know, you feel like, no, fearful to be like different from other people, okay? So that is the message or the lesson of number 1 itself, okay? So if like, now for now, those of you here who do not know about like how to connect it personally to you, okay? So just understand the numbers first, okay? When you go to the workshop, okay, quite a number of you have signed up. How many of you have signed up for next week workshop? Because I was told that, okay, right, some of you even sign up again, all right, to register again, those of you who attended, okay? Last week we have 300 over, but up to now I think it's about like 100 over has already signed up as well, okay? All right, so is that a question? Is from Singapore can attend? Oh, it's Angel. It's actually a online program, okay? So if you stick to the end of the session, right, we'll be sharing with you more information of that, okay? It's a Zoom, via Zoom, so we have students all over the world, all right? So that is actually the first number. Now, we look at the first number, okay, right, okay, the second number here is 2. Now, from 1 is individuality, okay, so 2 represents duality. So normally, if you see a lot of 2s, okay, it will be representing choices as well. Of course, 2 represents partnership. It represents balancing, all right? It represents reflection, okay? 2 now is like, you know, you can reflect on yourself. So when you have like 2 things, you know, we always believe that, okay, people around us are a reflection to ourselves. When you're individual, when you're 1 person, you cannot see yourself as easy unless you really go introspection, you really go inside or within. But when you have 2 here, when you interact with all these people, now, why is it somehow you ended up with a certain partner, with certain best friends, okay? Why you ended up with like a certain boss? They are like, no, millions of bosses around in the world. But why on earth are you ended up with this particular boss, with this particular boyfriend or husband or wife or girlfriend, okay? There's so many people around. Why are so many people? Why this best friend? Or why even a particular idol, okay? Right, let's say for me, it's like my one and only idol, like many of you will know, Sammy Chang. But at the end of the day, if you understand, okay, the numbers, like why this person? Because 2 here represents duality. When we have a specific connection with a person, either they are intimate relationship, they are best friends, they are idol, okay, or somehow we choose to be employed by those people, these people reflect something within us, okay? So therefore, number 2 here is also a number of reflection. So whenever you see 2, okay, together, like 2 friends together, 2 people together, 2 loving couple, I mean this loving couple, 2 of them together, it means that each of them are reflecting each other's personality, each other flaws, each other weaknesses, or even strength, okay? So that's how the number works. So here, of course, 2 represents partnership, merging. So instead of 1 individuality, now you have 2 people merging together, 2 things merging together, or it can represent choices as well. So normally, okay, just imagine, okay, so when you have one and only, there's not much like problem, right? Okay, so when you have 1 and only, there's no choice, right? There's no issue. Either you take it or you don't. But the thing is, problem starts to arise when people have two things onwards. When you have two options now, that is when people goes into a dilemma. We get emotional into things, okay? We get probably like, in a way, like distracted over things. Imagine now you have one super handsome guy in front of you, easy for you to make a decision. And the next thing is like, now you got two super handsome guys. How to choose? Alright, so it's like you will have that for a moment, okay, like lost between choices, or somehow we are confused between choices. So 2 here can also represent, okay, a slight confusion. You're unsure, okay? So unless you have that balance, unless you have that, in a way, reflection, the chances is at times, sometimes it is difficult for us to make a choice. So 2 is also a number of choice, okay? So of course, when it comes to, of course, personal lessons, okay, 2 is always about inner reflection. Thinking deeper, knowing and understand yourself deeper. So let's say in your life, now on a generic point, if you always find that number 2 always appears in your life, somehow you stay at the house, is number 2, right? Somehow your road name also got the 2 there. Example, your phone consists of a lot of 2s inside, okay? So it's like when you have all this synchronicity, right, it means that the lessons of number 2 is part of your life lesson. So now it's like you know that the life lesson is like, no, chances is it could be possibilities that you always have an issue when it comes to choices, choosing, in a dilemma, okay? So do you, in a way, right, somehow have that clarity or the knowledge, okay, to actually make the wise choice? Or somehow you often, when given choices, somehow you often go into a self-sabotaging choice. It means that you make a choice, then after that, you will regret it. You feel bad after that, okay? You always find that you make the wrong choices. That is the impact or effect of the 2. Now, the next one is 3. So of course, when you talk about 1, okay, then you talk about 2. From 1, then after that, okay, you have 2 emerging. So when 2 comes together, it is balancing, it is merging together. The energy is merging on. So when 2 merging together, when the yin merges with the yang, okay, when duality is achieved, right, okay, number 3 is born. So number 3 here, okay, represents like a newborn, a new creativity. Imagine that, okay, when you have just one person, okay, right, nothing can be done. This person is like, no, just one. But now when you have two of duality, okay, it is like, in a way, an even number of merging 2 together, the chances of a new creations can be born or a new idea can be sparked. So 3 here represents creativity, okay, something new, all right? Number 3 here also represents a number of fun or joy, okay? Just like number 3 also represents a number of growth, okay? So can you see here, even like those of you who do not know tarot, right? Why number 3, right? Often you see that the description on the cards itself, right? You will see a lot of abundance, a lot of growth. You see a lot of plants, a lot of trees, a lot of seeds going on, okay? So therefore, 3 is also a number of creativity. Right? So if you often see number 3, okay, comes into your life, all right, it is a reminder to ask you, how is your level of creativity in your life? Right? How do you actually create? All right? Are you always going back to like status quo? Okay? Do you actually like to feel safe, or always goes back to actually like whatever that makes you feel safer, rather than trying something new? Because if you don't try something new, okay, there's no creation there. Only when we try something new, a new creation can happen. So number 3 here, the lessons for most of the people, it will be like relating to creativity. How to grow yourself, okay? How to constantly grow and actually start something different. Now the issues or the lessons with number 3 is, if number 3 keep popping off on in our life itself, right, it will be a good time for us to question ourselves, okay? Which part or angle or aspect in our life itself, okay, that that is really not in a way creative or growing, okay? Which part of us is stagnant, okay? Which part of us has actually reached into that status quo, right? That will be the biggest questions that we need to ask. I mean, if you want to try, okay, something like how to say, a short divination, okay, later on you don't do paper cuttings. You cut like 9 papers, small papers. You write the numbers there, 1 to 9. Okay, so if you really want, okay, like the answer from the universe, that's how divination works, okay, random. So you write 1 to 9 on the piece of paper, okay? After you listen to the whole session itself, you know that each number itself carries with it something, some meaning, carries also with it some lessons, okay? Some message to us. So when you write out the numbers on this paper and then you fold it, you know, sometimes like kids, okay, we always like to play, okay? Right, you fold the numbers and you pick the numbers to see that, okay, which group you belong to, example, all right? So then when you fold the number and you pick just one number out and then see what number is it? How is it relating to you? The message for it, okay? In a way, then you can play back if you cannot remember. Each of this number itself has a lesson for us to break through. Of course, tonight itself, we are actually talking on the fundamental lesson, like this basic thing. So for number 3 over here, right, okay, the basic thing is about like, our creativity. Now, in order for us to create, we need to be at first be curious over things, okay? Because at the end of the day, if we do not have curiosity, then the chances is we cannot create. Everyone who creates, right, they have the curiosity to create. They believe that, oh, probably if I try something different, something new, okay, will come out. I wonder what it is, all right? So that mentality of curiosity is very important. But a lot of times when people decided to have actually let the ego that manipulates our fear to take over, means that these people has a greater fear more than the curiosity, then these people will go into like a status quo. They will stop creating. They will stop creating romance, surprises in the relationship. They will stop creating new things in the relationship. Therefore, it will affect relationship. They will stop creating, okay, new things or exploring new growth in terms of their career. Therefore, career will actually go into a stagnation. And many other aspects as well. Okay, so remember, 3 lessons is all about creation. Now, number 4 over here. Now 4, if you look at like, okay, the first start with 1. 1 is independence, okay? I'm alone, I don't need anything, okay? Up to 2, it means that you have learned duality, you have learned balancing, you have learned working together, you have learned merging together, how to blend in, that's number 2, okay? That's yin and yang. And then up to number 3 is after knowing how to blend in, working together, cooperations and partnership, you come to 3, right? Due to these partnerships or cooperations, okay, or collaborations, now you can create new things. That's number 3. Now, once you create, it comes to number 4. Number 4 here represents a structure. Okay, it represents discipline, security, consolidations, foundation, and stability. Now, think about it. After you create something, now you have 4. Besides 3, now you have 4. Okay, when you have 4, imagine it's like all tables, all chairs. Anything that when you have 4 legs supporting it, it makes a very firm and better foundation. That's why 4 here represents security, stability, and foundation. All right. So whenever we have 4, imagine number 4, it actually forms a square. When you spread out a 4, right, it forms a square. So when you have a square, it actually represents a structure has been formed, right? Because it's like if it's just one leg itself, right? Okay, a structure cannot be formed because it's not stable. When you have 2, okay, probably it gets more stable, but you cannot build structure to it as well. Of course, 3 also the same thing. You form a triangle. There's no structure form as well. You can go higher, but there's only so much that you can go high. Okay, eventually it will topple. But only when you form the 4. The 4, it actually builds a square, okay, or a rectangular. So once you have a square or rectangular, okay, how to say, why is it consolidation? Imagine when you have a square, okay, the center of gravity itself will go to the center, the central point, okay, so it is more like the energy goes inside, okay, it consolidates, it makes the whole structure firmer. Therefore, I mean, all this, if you cannot remember, right, imagine you look at the tarot card, okay, here already tells you the emperor. Emperor decides what? The king, okay, the leader, the top leader, okay, a person who decides the system, a person who decides the structure, okay, a person who actually decides the rule, therefore discipline, okay, right, it's a person who actually in a way builds safety, okay, all right, and peacefulness, okay, in certain like countries or certain places or whatever, the top of the hierarchy. So therefore it actually brings security as well. All right, so here, that's why I say tarot is so easy to actually in a way learn, is because by remembering the number, chances is like, you know, you have a lot to remember, okay? But the thing is, once you look at the photo or the picture here, right, okay, it makes it so much easier. All right, so now, okay, once we talk about 4, now what are the lessons of the 4, okay? So lessons of the 4 here is like, no, because 4 represents stability, okay? It represents like, you know, security. right, means that, okay, it goes into, right, stability and security. The chances is procrastination. Right, so right, 4 here, okay, there could be a possibilities, okay, that a person somehow, okay, either they do not know how to rest, okay, or they keep on resting, they do not know how to proceed further, okay, because due to the stability or the foundation that they have actually built, okay, they will stay there. Okay, instead of building the foundation and they progress further. So that will be one of the lessons, okay, that number 4 have to take note of. Okay, so for those of you who have just joined me, you know that your synchronicity with the 4. If you keep on seeing number 4 all the time, if you keep on seeing somehow you have the, the affinity to have a lot of 4 comes out to you in your life, all right, it can be from the car plates that you're given, it can be from the house numbers that you have chosen, okay, in a way that you stay on. So all this give you that synchronicity, okay. All right, then number 5. Now, once that structure and stability, okay, has been in a way achieved, right, okay, the 5 here, okay, brings to a number of change. Now, for Chinese metaphysics, right, okay, 5 here, it represents 5 yellow. From the 9 Shen Gong flying stars that we talk about, the 5 represents like 5 yellow. Now, 5 yellow, of course, if you know feng shui, 5 yellow is a number that a lot of people are fearful of, okay. 5 yellow is like, somehow when you look at 5 yellow, people are afraid of it, okay. They say, don't touch the 5 yellow, okay. Don't in a way trigger the 5 yellow or activate the 5 yellow, okay. So therefore, the 5 yellow itself represents trials and challenges, okay. The same thing, okay, when it comes to tarot. So the 5 here is depicted inside a hierophant. It's something like a religious system. Religious systems are the ones that also tells us about our trials and challenges as well, okay. It's like the things, the karmics, okay, loop that we have to go through, right. It means that we have to actually, in a way, learn, okay, how to actually elevate ourselves from the sufferings, from this samsaric world examples, okay. So these are the things, how to, in a way, right, okay, redeem our sins, okay, how to actually, in a way, get rid of it, okay. So all these are trials and challenges that a person will get. So all this conceived in the number of 5. All right. So number 5 here also represents change. So 4, it is actually a procrastination. It's too stable. So in order for it to break through the 4 itself, right, it have to actually go through a major change. It's just like someone, okay, if you have been status quo for too long, if you have been procrastinating for so long, right, okay, it needs a real impact. Something that really like a very strong catalyst to come, okay, and actually in a way jerk you up, to wake you up, so that you can actually make those changes, okay. So the 5 here, okay, can represent, okay, something that is not settled. It means that you need to be on the move all the time. You need to change all the time. You need to be adventurous all the time, okay. So that is actually represented by 5. All right. Now 5 is, okay, the challenge of 5 for people who are fearful of change. For people who are afraid, okay, to break that stability pattern of 4. For people who are afraid to build, in a way, to break that foundation. So if we are in a way afraid to actually make changes, it means that, oh, we have been in this job for so long. I've been working as this particular career for my entire life, okay. So if I make changes now, the chances is I'm afraid of it. I dare not make that change, even though you know that whatever that you're doing now is not actually bringing you much happiness or growth, okay. So a lot of people are afraid, okay, to actually make that massive, okay, change. So when we're afraid to make that change itself, the chances is we'll be stuck at number 4. The energy of the numbers cannot grow. So in order for it to grow, right, okay, we have to go into that breakthrough. We have to accept that trials and that challenges, and it will come to us, okay. It will challenge us in like really the most difficult way, okay. Somehow it's like it can become in different types of temptations, we have seen like Chinese, okay, right, you look at, the Journey of the West, this monk, okay, Tong Samjong, how much challenges like demons or all this that this monk have to go through in order for him to eventually be able to sustain, okay, or get the enlightenment. It means in order for us to be enlightened, to make changes and to make progress, we have to really go through a lot of trials and challenges in life itself. So that actually represented by number 5. Now, The next one here is 6, okay? So after that massive change, after that trials and error, after that chaos, okay, of the 5 yellow, now the 6 here represents, okay, something more tranquil, something more peaceful, something more resting. So number 6 in Chinese metaphysics, you can see it as the Qian Gua. Qian Gua is the, like, it represents heaven, okay? Like it represents like the highest hierarchy, power, authority. So once you have gone through the 5, if you are able to actually pass through all the trials and challenges in life itself, right, you go into a sense of harmony, okay? And this sense of harmony itself, okay, number 6 here also represents, okay, long-term things or long-term goals, okay? So here that once you have made that change, okay, here at number 6 side, you're at the top of your game. It says Qian Gua is heavens, okay? Heaven is like when you're at the top of the game itself, you can see further, okay? You can see far ahead. So now you need to see what is your long-term plan. You have made that change. You have actually shaken the stability, okay? You have thrown that change, okay? And like having the courage to make that particular transformation in your life. So now it comes to the 6 here, it means that, okay, what is that long-term goal? Now number 6 here can also represent family, close relationships. Therefore, in tarot itself, right, it is actually in a way governed by the Lover's card, okay? So here it's all about, right, reciprocity, okay, both ways. So now that you are the leader, you also need, okay, the other person, okay? When you are leading, you need followers also. Like, how is your relationship between, okay, your followers, okay, and yourself? Example, so this is the dynamic, okay, of number 6. Now, responsibility, long-term goal as well, okay? So family is a long-term goal. Setting up a family, okay, when you, in a way, okay, you decided, okay, actually to take that highest form, in human evolutions, like, one of the purpose for all beings, even every living beings, right, okay, its purpose is to really reproduce. Right, one of the basic fundamental purpose of everything, even including the virus. You look at like the COVID virus, okay, it will naturally know how to mutate itself. Okay, that is the basic survival. Right, animals, plants, they will know that the purpose is always keep on reproducing. All right, so for like humans also the same thing, okay? When we reach into our highest form itself, physicality, highest form itself, it is the part of reproducing. Therefore, 6 here represents a higher long-term goal, family-related thing, okay? Where we learn about responsibility, right? When we reproduce, okay, we have to learn about, okay, our future, our children's future, our next generations, the lineage, the legacy that we're going to leave behind, okay? So the Lover's card here represents that. What is your long-term goal, your planning or your long-term planning? All right. So after this long-term planning means that number 6, you reach into the highest level on a physical level, the 6 Qian Gua, okay, when you are actually in a way, right, the top authority. So number 7, it comes in as a number of spiritual number. Okay, now why is it called spiritual number? Okay, because this is a number where it actually reflects a lot of like introspections. Okay, right, a lot of like mind over matters thing. Okay, it's all about like how to actually in a way be in control of the mind. Now physically, probably you are successful. Now, okay, right, physically you're ready, okay, you have grown to a level where you can produce, okay, you're good enough. Now the next level is actually the test of the ego, okay, or your higher self. So therefore 7 here is always in a way seen as a spiritual number. That's why you see a lot of like natural phenomena. So people like to use 7, okay, in different probably backgrounds, okay, right, or different like culture as well. They always use 7. And if you look at like 7 colors of the rainbow, okay, the rainbow itself got 7 colors. You look at the 7 notes of the musical notes, okay, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, okay, right, because the next do is a higher octave, okay, of the same particular note of do itself, okay. So when you have these 7 notes itself, right, okay, that is the fundamental, okay, of 7. That's why 7 is a very special number. You also look at like the main chakras of the body itself, the 7 chakras, okay. So like the 7th chakra itself is actually on the crown. So crown here is of course like higher wisdom, okay. It represents, okay, everything relating to our mind, to our ego, to our wisdom, okay, right, higher than just knowledge, okay, or intelligence. So that is actually the number of 7. Now 7 here, okay, right, one of the trials or what are the lessons, okay, of 7 here, okay, is actually in a way how to balance life itself, okay, besides exactly intelligence and wisdom, besides like physical success and also spiritual success. So that is the 7. Means that, no, 7 here means that, okay, it is like a warrior, okay, it is something that in a way that you have to fight for it. Therefore, in Chinese, 对卦 7, right, okay, number 7 is also a lot of arguments, okay. Arguments means, okay, in your mind, there's always arguments going on, okay. When our brain is like, a lot of thoughts come to us every day, thousands of them. People always say that, oh, there's like an angel and the devil within me. Sometimes the angel asks me to do certain things and the devil will pops up and actually ask me and I, do otherwise. So this particular noise, okay, is actually all from the mind. So the 7 here, okay, it's all about the mind. So the lessons for 7 is like, how to actually, in a way, control that mind, okay. So therefore 7 here can also represent meditation, because meditation is supposed to be a method to try to understand the mind, not to say really controlling it, but in a way like appease it, okay, so that it's not like, you're having a monkey mind and it's like all over the place. So that is actually the purpose of what the 7s should be attaining. So the lessons for the 7s. Now, then the next one, it comes to the 8th. All right. So the 8 here, okay, represents strength, success, authority, extension, or advancement. Now, why is it like strength, success? It also represents stability, okay? So remember we talked about number 4. 4 is also a number of success. It also actually is like the first tier of stability. Just now we talked about 4. You have 4 legs together. It's very stable, very secure. That's the first layer or the first level of success. Now imagine, okay, some people decided to stay at the 4. Okay, they keep on staying there is because now they feel safer that when they have a bit of success in life, and they are afraid to actually go through the 5, which is the trials and challenges, that major breakthrough. All right. So if people stay at the 4, they will always, in a way, like, remain at the level of the 4. They cannot go into a higher success. Now number 8 here is a double. You see like 2 of the 4s put together. You see one square and another square put together, you got number 8. So therefore, 8 here represents the true strength, okay? When you have a foundation, it might not actually represent true strength, okay? Like your foundation is good, okay? Yeah, it's powerful, but it might not be true strength. So in order for it to be true strength, you have to double up the foundation. So number 8 comes to it. So this is true success. It represents authority, true power. An extension. Extension means that, okay, let's say if number 4, okay, right, let's say example, if number 4 is a millionaire, then number 8 is a billionaire. That's the difference, okay? All right, so 8 here, of course, is a greater number. It's of course more massive, more powerful. Therefore, 8 here represents advancements. It means that we have so much, opportunities to advance. Therefore, the Chinese always likes the 8. Okay, Chinese, when they say 8, because it sounds like fat, okay, when you talk about 8, it sounds like fat. Not only that, okay, not only because of the sound, okay, the numbers itself, right, you look at how the energy grows. When you have 4 means, right, it consolidates the energy, makes it strong. When you have 8, right, okay, the energy of the 8 itself, right, okay, when you have 2 square put together, it becomes even more firmer, more stronger, and it can hold more. Okay, right? Just like, when you have like, one chair together, it is firm and it's strong, okay? But you have 2 chairs tied together, even out, okay, in terms of its strength. Now, don't you think that you can actually hold more things, okay, on the surface of 2 chairs put together? All right? So therefore, 8 here is a true number of success, where you can hold more things within you. And that brings us to 9. Means that when you reach the truest success, let's say you become that billionaire, okay, right? The highest level of strength and authority and advancements in your life itself, okay? So what's next? The next one, you come to a final number. The final number here means the 9 is the highest number, okay? It's a number that we call a karmic number as well, right? So it's like once you have actually reached all this success, okay, Karmic number means that are you truly in a way successful not only on material gain but inside out, because it's always about a world of duality. It means that we can be very successful, we can be billionaires and all that, but do we have the equal fulfillment within us that we can in a way without any doubt claim that we are the happiest and most joyful person around, where everyone's like harmonious within the family? Because you see a lot of people who are they are rich, they are successful, they build an empire, but end up probably like, they are taking their own life, they are torturing themselves, they are self-sabotaging themselves by doing drugs or taking a lot of doing a lot of nonsense that hurting themselves, okay, or even eventually also like committing suicide. So these are the things, okay, when, okay, right, you reach to number 8, you have to go through the final test, okay, that is carried by number 9. And number 9 here is a number of wisdom, true wisdom. So it calls it like compassion, understanding, and acceptance, because this is like the biggest number, the highest. You have traveled, okay, to the biggest number. You actually, in a way, have gone through all the rest of the number, okay? And then, of course, number 9 is also a number that always goes back to its root number. It means that you multiply 9 with any other numbers. 9 times 3, you got 27. When you add 2 plus 7 together, you get 9. Example, when you have 9 times 9, you have 81. When you add 8 plus 1 together, you got also 9. It means any multiplications of 9, okay, it actually adds up back to number 9. Okay, therefore we call it what we call a karmic number. It means that in life itself, okay, whatever that we have done, okay, our actions or inactions, it will also brings us back to to reap the fruits that we have grown. Okay, so all these things is like number 9 is like whatever we have done, okay, is the highest wisdom. Okay, so we will in a way have to also encounter back the effect of all these actions or inactions that we have decided in life. Therefore, it is called a karmic number. So here it represents compassion, understanding, acceptance, completion, perfection, because 9 is the highest number already. Because after 9, it goes back to 10. It goes to 10, 10 is back to 1. Because 10, 1 plus 0 is actually 1. Alright? So here also now, wisdom. Highest wisdom means like the nature or the lessons that number 9 people have to learn or go through is acceptance. Because true wisdom is able to accept everything else. Alright? That is just true wisdom. So the thing is like, okay, why compassion? Because if we cannot accept, we cannot have compassion. Or we just say it's the other way around. We do not have compassion, we cannot accept. So number 9's people, right, okay, somehow your life itself, right, will be thrown with a lot of triggers of judgment. Somehow in your life, right, okay, you'll be thrown with lessons that, you have that need to judge. You have to need to judge that, oh, this is not right, this is not, this is good or this is bad. So somehow it will push you to judge. And by the moment that you accept the flaws of other people and stop judging, that's when you actually encompasses the lessons of the 9. Okay? So therefore, that is briefly, okay, talking or telling you about the meanings of the number. Alright? So those of you, okay, example, okay, those of you who are actually interested, okay, in next Tuesday, right? In fact, many of you have actually signed up, okay, for that particular workshop. I'm not sure, Yanku, did you? Yeah, oh, Charlize, you attended, okay, the last week one, okay, you're the hermit. All right, that's good. Okay, so it's like CK Joey, your favorite number is 7 and 9. Good, then reflect on 7 and 9, because if that is your favorite number, it holds on to you a lesson, okay, because there's a synchronicity, there's an attraction to it. All right, so for those of you, okay, who are interested, okay, to join me, okay, next Tuesday, all right, I have this tarot and call workshop, okay, on next Tuesday, which is a public holiday. I don't have any more weekends, okay, right? People has been asking it. At first we thought I want to sell the replay, but to me it's like a live workshop is so much better compared to a replay. So we can actually, since we have a public holiday on Tuesday, we decided to actually slot it in on Tuesday 2 to 5 via Zoom. It's online, okay, so it's only 50 ringgit. So if you're interested, okay, on that day itself, what we'll cover is we will actually use your date of birth, okay, to calculate, okay, the numbers or the cards that is related to you. And in that particular session also, we will talk about life purpose and also soul purpose, okay? Like based on this particular card or what we call your soul card itself, okay? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? It means that imagine just now all the cards that we have gone through, we will go through all the symbols in the card. The colors, the symbols, the roses, the lilies, okay, from the robe to that sign on the head. We'll go through everything and then tell you what are your trials or challenges. What will be your breakthroughs? How to actually, in a way, master your life itself by, in a way, breaking all these breakthroughs up, okay? So that all these weaknesses that's bounding to you, right, okay? How to break through it so that you can actually elevate yourself to the next level. So if you're interested, do scan on the QR code over here or click on the link on the comment below, okay? So you can register yourself. Now, another thing, let's say for those of you, if you don't feel the calling into this, I have a free workshop coming up this Sunday, all right? So this Sunday itself is sponsored by J Group. As you can see here, right, even all my Wednesday Facebook live sessions are also sponsored by J Group. Is Jennifer in tonight? Okay, you didn't see her. All right, sometimes she will be here, okay, sometimes she is not, okay? So she's actually in, is it? Oh yeah. Okay, Jennifer, yeah, actually say hi. I missed her comment earlier on. So you can see that all these workshops are actually sponsored by J Group. And this Sunday, we have another fully sponsored workshop, okay? So that is actually like coming up this Sunday on the 29th. That is, where does all your money go? All right, so this is a Bazi workshop. So it's not tarot related. All right, so if you're interested in Bazi, okay? So this workshop itself will need your Bazi details. It means that you will need your date of birth and time of birth. You go into the software and plot out your chart, okay, and I will guide you through, okay, based on your own chart itself, okay, like what is your connection with money, okay? It's somehow, it's like, you know, where does all your money go? It's like, why is it? It's like, are you the type of person that can keep the money, or if not, okay, why? Okay, you know, some people it's like, oh, I work so hard, I got the money, but yet somehow I don't understand where has it, like, you know, ended up in, okay? So that's the case, right? Okay, this is a workshop for you, because in this workshop, we're going to look deep into your own Bazi chart to understand, okay, how to actually understand yourself in terms of your spending behavior, okay? When you get the money, okay, how have you been manipulated subconsciously, okay? Right, somehow in a way that your money goes to a certain, probably, like, you know, places, okay, where it is like, out of, like, you know, a manipulations of our emotions, example. So what exactly are the things that is in a way manipulating you? So if you're interested to find that out, okay, 29 August, 2 to 4 p.m. is a 2-hour workshop. It's via Zoom as well. Then you have to, in a way, scan on this QR code or click on the link below, okay, or in the comments to actually register for it. All right. So basically, that is actually the session for tonight. Let me see, okay, any questions here? You also, okay, Christine Wong, you also like Sammy Chang. Yeah, I've been in a way, like, you know, throughout my life, I've grown, different stages of my life, I've grown with a song, okay? So yeah, she's actually like, yeah, my one and only, like, I only one idol only. Shirley is, okay, can you explain what is in for your tarot personal blueprint is about? Okay, we explain the meaning of the 78 cards or how to use the tarot for divination. Shalice, okay, okay, the 78 cards, of course, I will have to explain in the tarot blueprint because you need to use all the cards, okay, but it's not for divination. Tarot blueprint is like, okay, there are actually probably more than 100 people has already signed up. It's another workshop that I have in September, okay, where it's a workshop of like learning, okay, the tarot card and learning our life map. Means that the blueprint means that, okay, based on tarot itself, every one of us, okay, based on the year, the month, the day, and the hour, we have luck pillar, we have annual, okay, in a way, monthly cards, okay, to actually like tells us about our life, our strength, weaknesses, what particular luck that we are going through now, what is the strength, what are the weaknesses, how to focus on certain things in order to make our luck better, okay, so that is tarot blueprint. Now, we don't teach divination in tarot blueprint. Tarot blueprint is more into knowing yourself. It's like a more budget, economical, and the most easy to learn skill or software, I mean, in a way, talent, okay, or tool comparatively to Bazi. Okay, so this is like one of the easiest form. Let's say, for example, you want to learn this particular class itself, right? After the class, you can actually come up with the software to help people to do readings, live reading, right? To know about their health issues, okay? To know about their strength, their purposes, how to actually tell them about their life purpose versus their soul purpose, okay? To read for them, example, okay, their current 10 years luck pillar, what are they expecting, okay, in this year and next year in 2022, what will they be actually going through, what are the challenges, how to overcome that. So the tarot blueprint is for that purposes. So it doesn't touch on divination. So divination is another masterclass, okay, where that's how you actually want to go into like random picking up cards to actually decipher the meaning of the cards, okay, and help your clients, okay, for any ad hoc at that moment type of like a question, okay. So tarot blueprint is a life reading. Okay, knowing about strength, weaknesses, understanding is like, the lessons of life, like, as you progress in your life itself. And this cards belongs to you, is your blueprint, is your map. It doesn't change one. It's not like divination every time you pick the different cards. All right. So yeah, any more questions? Paul David says that looking forward to the Tarot Personal Blueprint workshop. Yeah, okay, in fact, many of you. If I'm not mistaken, for that class, I think probably we already have over hundreds participants, okay? But those of you first timers, don't think so far first, because that's why I don't want to share all this, okay? Sell all these workshops in my Facebook, okay? Because you need to learn first on the fundamental. How do you feel connected to all these things? So if you're really feeling curious and connected to tarot, just consider going into Tarot, Your Core and You workshop will be good enough. Even after that workshop, if you feel that, I don't want to progress further, it's fine, because the Tarot, Your Core and You workshop will be sufficient enough for you to actually understand at least a certain part of yourself, okay, about your strength, your weaknesses, what's your life lessons, okay, and how to actually transcend from that. It will be good enough. And you can even use this, okay, just Your Core and You workshop itself, right, this knowledge itself to help other people as well, okay. So ask those, I suppose, like, some of you, as Real Chin and all that, Paul David, you have actually attended Tarot, Your Core and You, right? Those information will be good enough for you to actually like do readings for other. Kim Ng, I'm sure you also attended, because Kim Ng, I always see her names every workshops, okay, I go to. I suppose that, okay, yeah, you also attended Tarot, Your Core and You workshop as well, okay? So it's like, these people now, they are, in a way, they can actually go around and helping people to read soul cards already. All right, so that is the workshop. All right, so thank you so much, Kim Ng, another Sammy Chang songs lover. All right, so all right, thank you so much, okay, to all of you. Got some more questions, is it? Okay, Saman, how to know what's my number? Now, that one, of course, we will cover. Now, see, knowing your number is one thing, right? Knowing the number itself, and then after that, going deeper, okay, because I think you sign up, right? Okay, Saman, did you sign up for the Tarot, Your Core and You as well? It will all be covered inside, okay? So Tarot, Your Core and You workshop, right? Okay, how to derive the number, and then exactly like this numbers itself, right? Okay, from the symbols, the colors, the numbers, okay, and the card meaning itself will tell you much, much deeper about yourself. So all this will be covered, okay, on the Tuesday workshop, okay, on the coming 31st of August. All right. So thank you so much, okay, to all of you, okay, for tonight. Summer Zaidi, yep, you signed up. I remember, okay, if I'm not mistaken, I remember that you have signed up as well. So I will see you, okay, on Tuesday, and of course the rest of you, and also including those of you who sign up again, okay, for the upcoming workshop, even though you have you have actually like learned it last week. All right, thank you so much, and have a good rest, okay. Good night, and I will see you. Hopefully, I'll see you this Sunday, okay, in that Where Does All Your Money Goes workshop sponsored by J Group. All right, thank you. Bye bye. Good night.